So I'm using a Harvey De-Primer. It's a handheld tool I bought. Retails about $50 or so. It's a pretty simple apparatus. It's hardened steel. It's got a steel pin in the middle and a little slot. What you do, you take your spent shell, and it'll work for just about any kind of cartridge. You put your spent shell over the pin here, and just get it to where you can feel it kind of seat inside the primer. You'll know it fits because then the primer will slide into the slot. If it's not seated right, the cartridge won't go into the slot. So you just kind of get the pin seated into the inside the cartridge in the primer, and then you put it in there, and then all you do is you just squeeze, and it pops the little primer right out the end, and then you can take the cartridge out. And that's kind of a neat little handheld De-Primer. Okay, now that I've got my brass de-primed, I'm going to go ahead and clean my brass. I bought a Thumler's Tumbler. This is Model B. I bought this, I think I got it on Amazon.com. I chose to get what's called a wet tumbler. The wet tumbler uses stainless steel pins. I'll kind of show you what those look like. So it's very fine extruded stainless steel pins. And the reason I chose this is because with a wet tumbler system, the pins, the stainless steel pins, will get both inside the shell, and they will also get into the primer pockets here. So these primer pockets that I've de-primed, the stainless steel pins will actually get in there and clean those up. So here's an example of one of these cartridges that I de-primed. You can kind of see inside the primer pocket there's some carbon and some kind of black gunpowder spent and so on. And of course the inside is black with the burnt powder. And you'll see it's got kind of a dull sheen to the shell. But when it goes through this wet priming process, or a wet cleaning process, you'll see these will come out just shiny bright. So first we're going to prepare the tumbler machine. I did buy on Amazon a automatic cutoff timer. It's got settings at 1 hour, 2 hour, 4 hours, 6 hour, 8 hours, and so on. The proper timer for these brass is probably about 2 hours. So basically you just kind of push the button and it turns on the motor, and then it'll automatically turn itself off after 2 hours. The other materials that I have, I've got just a dishwashing detergent. I chose Ajax with super degreaser. So it's just the regular dishwashing detergent that you get at the grocery store. And I have some Lemi-Shine. This is essentially a water softener, and it's recommended especially when you're cleaning brass and those kind of things. So I've already got the stainless steel media in the tumbler. Now what I did to kind of prepare my tumbler for the use the first time is I put the stainless steel media in, I filled it up with water and added a little bit of the Ajax, and I sealed it up and I let it spin for about an hour. This kind of cleans the oil and grease that may be on the stainless steel media, because obviously when it's produced at the factory they shoot this stainless steel wire through a machine and chop it into these fine little lengths, but the extruder machine is lubricated with a kind of an oil grease, and so I've run just the stainless steel pin media through the tumbler for about an hour, drained it and so on, rinsed it, and that kind of cleans the media, and it also kind of scoured the inside of the rubber tumbler. You can see it's a real thick rubber membrane, so it's all ready to go at this point. So basically you just put about 5-pound bag of the stainless steel media. It's not that much stainless steel. You can see there's the bottom right down there. So you don't have to fill this thing with stainless steel or anything like that. It's They sell the media in, I think, these 5-pound bags, and that's really all you need to do. I'll point out something too about the Thumler tumbler. You see how it's got flat sides? That's going to be very important, because then when it's sealed up and it's spinning on the motor, the media and the cartridges reach a point and then they tumble, kind of like a waterfall effect, tumbling back upon themselves. That's very important when you're talking about polishing the brass cartridges. That waterfall effect inside is very important. All right, so this is the cartridges that I de-primed. I'm just going to dump them in the bag. Dump the bag into the tumbler. Okay. One other thing about the cartridges, it's very important not to mix different caliber cartridges in the tumbler. If I had, I've got these 7.62 by 3.9 casings. Let's say I also tried to tumble these with, a 45 brass. Well, the 45 brass, being a larger diameter, might slide down over the 7.62 rifle cartridges, and then you won't get the media inside the cartridges. So it's just very important when you're tumbling your cartridges, cleaning them, just to only put one size cartridge at a time, in the tumbler. So I've added the brass cartridges. I'm going to go ahead and just add some water. I read online that it's important not to use hot water. So just regular, lukewarm tap water, kitchen water. I'm going to go ahead and fill that up. I'll leave it about an inch below the surface. There you go. Now I'll take my my Ajax dishwashing liquid. Dawn would certainly work. Just give it a squirt. You don't have to go nuts with it at all. Just kind of wash the liquid off of here. Got a little bit on the top. It's not going to really be important, because the rubber makes a real tight gasket kind of seal. All right, so now I'm going to take my Lemi-Shine, excuse me, and add equivalent of a teaspoon or so, maybe a tablespoon. Again, you don't have to go nuts with the Lemi-Shine. Okay, that's probably a heaping tablespoon. You can kind of smell the citric acid in it. All right, now I'm going to seal the tumbler with the provided membrane, and then the stainless steel lid. All right. Now, it comes provided with a bunch of washers and wing nuts. So I'm just going to go ahead and put all the washers on. Kind of awkward to do this while I'm filming. Got to do everything with one hand as I film with the other hand. All right. Now, when you tighten the wing nuts, first I'm going to do is just barely, twist it until it's snug. I'm not even tightening it. Then you'll notice what I'm doing is I'm going to the opposite side over here and tightening that one. And again, just snug for now. Then I'm going to go, go on another side, and then find its opposite over here. By going opposite to opposite sides, you create a better seal. There's less likelihood of, bunging or wrinkling the membrane underneath. So you get a nicer seal. All right. Oh, and by the way, the tumbler manufacturer says if you tighten these with a machine, to tighten them really tighten them up, that'll void the warranty on the device. So really, you should just finger tighten them. All right. So now I'm squeezing it, just reasonably tight. Again, going opposite to opposite. And you can see I'm not going nuts on tightening this. You don't have to go very, very tight. In fact, if you were to try to tighten this down with a wrench or something like that, you'd probably tighten through the rubber gasket. You'd have a failure of the seal. Alright, so now they're all snug and tight. Alright, so now put the tumbler, put the bucket on the tumbler, and just to kind of show you, there's a little raised area. So as long as you get this lip on that side and on the other side, you get it on this side. So then you see it's not going to go anywhere then. The other thing is you'll notice I've got the screw side facing away from the motor. So it's this side of the motor. If the screws were over here sticking out, then there's a possibility that they could, you know, intersect this this motor drive, you know, and snap this rubber cord here. So make sure that the wing nuts are on this side. All right. Now I'm just going to set it for 2 hours. And that's it. Again, I chose the wet tumbler because it's quieter than the vibrating tumblers. And again, as you can see, as the square sides come up, the media inside is creating kind of a waterfall tumbling effect as it goes around. So that's it. I'll let it run for about 2 hours, and then I'll show you the finished brass when it's done. All right, so it's been about 2.5 hours. The water, as you can see, is very dark and kind of dirty looking. That's a good thing. But if you look at the shells, let's see if we can focus on them here. You can see they are just as pristine and polished as you can imagine. Even the little primer pockets are nice and clean. So these stainless steel pins get into the primer pockets, get into the shell inside, and just polish everything beautifully. So at this point, I'm going to pour the media, the brass cases, and the water into this separator, which is essentially a bucket. This is an RCBS media separator. And I want to show you something, though. At the very bottom of this bucket, here's a little tip for you. This is a flower separator. I got this on Amazon. It's a very fine stainless steel mesh, so water will flow through this, and it fits just pretty nicely in the bottom of this RCBS media separator. This will help significantly reduce your cleanup time, because as the cartridges are sitting in this thing, see, they're going to get caught by those slats, and the cartridges are not going to go anywhere. But the stainless steel pins are going to fall through with the water to the bottom of the bucket. And when that's done, you'll want to be able to recover the stainless steel pins to put them back into your tumbler. And so I bought this flour sifter with a stainless steel mesh, fine stainless steel mesh from Amazon, and that really significantly reduces the cleanup time, recovering your stainless steel pins and so on. So let's go ahead and do that. All right, so I'm going to pour the brass and the media into the separator. And that's pretty much all that you do. You close this, close the lid, just give it some nice turns. there's your brass. So at this point it's all cleaned and polished and ready to resize and put in the into the press. So this is that flour sifter that I talked about, and you can see how easy that is to pick up those stainless steel pins now. You can just take it right straight into the sink, rinse it out, put the pins back into your Thumler tumbler, and you're ready for the next time.